Seven, seven.
Seven, seven, seven. Seven, seven, seven. わずかな星がふるさとだ。
ウルトラセブン、ファイターセブン、ウルトラセブン、セブン、セブン。
すずめみんなのパートナーでもウルトラアイデスパー。セブン、セブン、セブン。セブン、セブン、セブン。諸星団の名を借りて
ウルトラセブン、ヒーローセブン、ウルトラセブン、セブン、セブン。
倒せ火を吐く大怪獣ウルトラビームデストライク。
Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q, episode 34. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
How many genocides are we at now?
Oh, several. Many, even. I'm also joined by Razan.
People keep asking Soga if he's back, and he hasn't really had an answer. But yeah, I'm thinking he's back.
Yeah, coming up, we got The Wizard of Oz, Man Behind the Curtain, Genocide Nostalgia, and finally, at last, a Soga episode. If I had one of those party poppers, I'd pull one right now. Holy shit, they did it.
This episode, I'm calling it now, is going to be one of many low lows and many high highs.
Okay, so, first things first, I haven't done shit. I, finished reading some books. I've been playing, some games here and there, but I haven't done anything. I mean, I finished all of the 40k books I was reading. Well, no, when I say finished, I dropped one of them. I dropped the one about the Space Vikings because it turned bad. It was
the cringe one all along.
It was the cringe one after all along, because they very quickly, once it got past Act 1 and it was no longer the huge brain Vikings encountering Space Marines and thinking that they're the children of gods, and it became really shit Full Metal Jacket. And I, once it got to some combat towards the end, I was okay, I'm done. The second Horus Heresy book, though, about all the prequel stuff, about leading up to the Emperor getting nearly killed by Horus, was actually... It was good enough that I felt like the first one, which I enjoyed kind of at the time, on reflection, is genuinely embarrassing in comparison. The second book's good. It's got problems. It's got it kind of takes away. It kind of tries to have someone trick Horus into doing his tragedy, kind of like Iago style. But it's still fundamentally Horus's tragic problems, Shakespearean style, his flaws, that are what lead to his quote unquote fall. It's also much better than the first book at walking the high wire of depicting this tragic fall of the scion of the most evil empire that has ever existed. It's much better at that high wire act. It's also much better at the high wire act of the whole the fall of the empire into its most dystopian version is accompanied by its turn from atheism to religion. It's balanced by the depiction of this extreme Reddit atheist ideology as like extremely cruel and completely inhuman, and fundamentally, like the void will be filled by faith. Faith will find new religion, and yeah, I think the second book is much better at that than the first book. So you'll imagine my shock when I look up this book and I find out that universally, almost, the 40k fans think that this book is way worse than the first one. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I don't even, like, you know, the whole, like, tendency to fascism now ranks second place to you motherfuckers need to have some taste. Absolutely ludicrous idea, because it's also like it's the only book that I've read now that's like a Black Library book, 40k book, that doesn't do the most annoying thing in the world, or fantasy and sci-fi that like genre authors sometimes do, which is they love to write fight scenes. I don't mean like action broadly. I don't mean like violence. I mean, they love fight scenes and like choreography, and it's like
I cannot stand that shit.
It's the worst.
It never works.
And Graham McNeil, maligned for some reason in the 40k fan base, understands this and writes action in like this abstract way that is suitable for the written word. And you know, the description of Horus carving his way through the crashed spaceship up to the bridge, I have a very strong image of what that looks like. It's not described. It's like there's like a tyranny to like the blow by blow description as well, because it robs you of imagination. That you can't. It doesn't like it's not evocative. It's, if you don't see it the way I see it in my head, then I have failed as an author. No. And the image of him, you know, cutting down chaos, the infected, like soldiers is like, it sticks in a way that Dan Abnett writing about Gaunt having a knife fight for 2 chapters doesn't. Don't worry, it's not. When I say 2 chapters, I mean Dan Abnett chapters, so it's like 2 minutes. Don't worry. Yeah, it's a pretty alright book. I'm gonna read the I was alarmed by the afterword, which was written in 2012, and I was like, do you mean these things that you're saying? I suspect you don't. Talking about like, oh yeah, you know, talking about it in like the most empire pilled way, and I was like, this has to be a joke. This is ridiculous. You can't mean this. I read the book. But yeah, I think overall, the actual thing that happened was I realized the flaw in my plan, which was like a few weeks ago. I said into a microphone like a week ago. I said I was craving 2000 AD, and so I read 40k. Now, 2000 AD exists. I can just read more of it. So
and
I don't.
You won't have a monitor stand.
So I don't know. I was just like, there's like, you know, 2000 AD that I haven't read, obviously, because it's been in publication for decades and decades. So I was just like, you know what, I was just gonna.
It is true that 2000 is 2 decades old.
Yeah, it is. It is 2 decades old. So I think I might read some 2000 AD at some point. Some proper fucking comics. Like, I'm gonna relegate weeb shit for like a little bit. Like, put down the Shonen Jump and just be like, I'm gonna read British Shonen Jump.
Red, can I have your opinion on the Dread 2012 film?
Oh, that movie's fucking sick, bro.
Okay, I like that movie a lot, and I was curious how an actual 2000 AD fan would feel about it.
I mean, it's not. Here's the thing. It's a very like. I don't want to say it's serious because it is a ridiculous movie, but there is a degree to which it takes everything like very seriously. And Dredd is like Judge Dredd is like very deliberately ludicrous. Like you look up like just like what Judge Dredd comics look like, and it's fucking ridiculous. In a way that Dredd the movie is not, but Dredd the movie is a good movie, so I don't care.
I still remember what I walked into that movie when it came out in theaters, not knowing what the fuck I was getting into. I just wanted to see something dumb and actiony with a friend because we were young and bored. We both walked out of that like, that was really fucking good. What the hell?
Hearing that there was a planned sequel and that it was going to do Judge Death, I was like, that is where the ridiculous shit was going to be. That is, Judge Death. It's ridiculous. It's like death.
Judge what?
Judge Death.
Okay.
Let me Google Judge Death. I'm going to show you Judge Death. Here we
Best
go.
friends with General Killing of War of the Pocket Face.
Yeah. This is Judge Death. This is one of the top images you get when you Google Judge Death.
Oh, I've seen a lot of weird people on Twitter with this as their icon.
Oh, yeah, of course you have.
This seems like if American cops have Punisher, British cops have this guy.
I mean, he's I mean, British cops have presumably. Actually, it's funny. I don't know that British cops are super into Judge Dredd, but Judge Dredd would probably be their equivalent. Judge Death is like a villain. But yeah.
I love his belt. It makes him look like a fucking beautiful Joe villain.
It's good. All right. So yeah, that's kind of where I am at this week. I haven't really done shit. Who's up?
I've done a lot of things with my hands this week.
You've been playing
Things word
Nikkei.
out differently.
So first, I had the greatest problem in the universe. I woke up one day for work a little bit late, and I got showered, got ready, and everything, and then I went, oh no, I still have my gamer gremlin laptop all hooked up, and I need to swap it out for the MacBook I got through work. This inconvenienced me just enough that I was almost late for a meeting. I decided I need to set up a second work desk because I haven't really been using my other desk in my bedroom for anything. So that's just going to become my work desk now. So as you do, I bought a second monitor, second like USB-C dongle thing, second mouse, and then also a second keyboard. But because my friend Jake convinced me to build a mechanical keyboard, I can now no longer be normal about keyboards. So logically, I had to build a second mechanical keyboard. So I got a Halo 65 keyboard with some, I think it's called Purple Horizon keycaps. Here's how it sounds like for the folks at home. It sounds really nice. I'm very happy with it.
Clack.
I can hear that you're a keyboard guy now.
I like how you entered that into the chat.
Yeah. Well, you know, you gotta.
You don't. I'm just saying.
You can hear the shutdown that just happened in my brain when she said that. It's kind of insane.
Well,
saying,
we now know what kind of key smash Razin is now.
Yeah. Goddamn true. But here's the thing. The first time I built a keyboard, when I was 90% of the way done with the process, I was like, this is a hobby. for ridiculous people that are completely unhinged and do not value joy in life. This is so in the weeds unnecessary to get something that you could just fucking buy a decent replication of for much cheaper with much less effort. I don't fucking get it. And then when the finished thing was in front of me and I started typing, I was like, oh, this sounds and feels really nice. Fuck. God damn it. But this is a prohibitively expensive hobby. I am not going to build another keyboard in a long time, I think, because I only really need the two, honestly, with my current setup, and I don't want to become a keyboard collector guy. Not interested enough. I will continue listening to ASMR videos of people typing as I fall asleep, though, because I am a sicko. The other thing I did with my hands this week is my custom art came in for my hitbox. I decided to swap out my hitbox standard art with the Sega Blast City custom artwork that I had photoshopped up. Turned out pretty good. You can find pictures of it on my Twitter at
I'm finding
Rosenbrand.
them right now.
Yeah. I swapped out the buttons as well. I stripped one of the screws, so I had to, when I was working with all the innards and stuff in the back, I just had to conveniently kind of just twist that one piece so that the box was up. Like, I couldn't completely remove the back because of that stripped screw, so I just kind of pushed it out of the way while I worked on the innards. And then wired everything back up, which is kind of a pain in the ass and hurt my hands. I really need to get like a pair of small pliers for that. But I swapped everything out to be color accurate to the Sega Blast City cab, and I used it to play a little bit of Marvel 3. And I went, yep, I still don't really know how to use Hitbox. I think I'm going to try forcing myself to learn. So I have a friend who, I've talked about my friend Jake before. He's really fun, good at Tekken. I really want to give Tekken 8 a go, and I have been told by multiple people now that leverless is the way to go with Tekken, especially with some of the ridiculous movement stuff and frame perfect inputs that you need to do for specific characters. Like, you don't want to use stick if you don't really have to for Tekken and you care about that, like playing at a high level sort of thing. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just get on the ground floor of this game I barely know how to play with the tool that people recommend for it? So I'm going to do that, and maybe if I ever get around to actually playing Mortal Kombat 1, because I'm the worst and I bought it but I haven't installed it yet, I'll probably try learning that on Hitbox too, because apparently it's pretty decent for that as well. So
you can just play the original Mortal Kombat on Bitecade.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah. I have historically not been the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, but I hope that I see the light with 1. This game
What if there is no light?
There might not be. I see, the thing is, I like half enjoyed Injustice 1 and 2, but I fell off of both of them hard. The thing that is making me go, maybe with Mortal Kombat 1 is I've seen a lot of Marvel players be like, oh, this is the exact... Because they have, like, an assist system now. On top of you have your guy, you also have, like, a little assist character you can select, like Marvel vs. Capcom 1, that you can then string into combos and have doing stuff on the field as well. And that... I've seen a lot of Marvel players very positive on the game be like, oh, this is like the same sort of like fast speed, like you want to just dig in there and mess around and see what ridiculous nonsense you can get up to and pull over on people. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly my jam, so I do want to give it a go. Speaking of fighting games, though, oh, this is funny. I have this written down as Street Fighter 6 Gold rank. Little did I know I would surpass that. I hit Platinum rank in Street Fighter 6, which puts me, according to some Reddit number cruncher guy, in the top 30 percentile of players, which made me very happy.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, like, so I've been playing Cammy. The ranking system is on a per-character basis. I got placed in silver after my placement matches just because I came up with... Personally, I think I probably could have made it to gold. But just my placement matches were against some killers, so I got brought down to silver, and I made my way up to gold recently. and then I just kept winning, and it was a little bit of a struggle, but I got a pretty good streak going, and now I've made it to Platinum, which is about where people say, like, okay, this is where you're starting to get, like, regular tournament scene level players, and you really need to tighten up your game. But I'm just happy that I've accumulated enough general knowledge and experience that even though I have spent what I feel like is minimal time in training mode, at least for me, on how I typically play these games, I'm just familiar enough with the basics of fighting games and smart enough about making the reads I need to make that I just kind of brute forced my way to that rank. And now I think I'm going to take a little bit of a breather and be like, okay, I need to actually learn, like, how to punish properly instead of just relying on the basic string of moves that I know I can do in certain situations, and actually learning some more advanced mix-ups and things, and stop just doing the basic stuff that anyone who really knows how to fight against me can sniff out and deal with. So but yeah, felt good. So the thing is, I fight a lot of my friends who are way better at me at fighting games and, like, regularly make it out of their tournament pools and shit. And then I go like, oh god, I'm so fucking bad at these games. And then, like,
Right.
I go online against normal people and I'm like, never mind. I'm fine, actually.
Nice.
All right, Mel, get the shotgun ready.
Oh my fucking god. All right.
Okay.
I watched Perfect Blue.
Okay.
But I also watched it with audio commentary from Narissa Ravencroft, the new Hololive VTuber.
Let's go.
So,
Listen.
yeah,
She's left the call.
she left.
Okay, I can't do that.
Welcome back.
That was good. As you were saying, Red.
I mean, that's, you know, if you're gonna pick a VTuber to watch Perfect Blue with, that's the one.
So,
Is
I
this your
joined her
first time
membership-
watching Perfect Blue?
no,
Okay,
no.
I was just checking.
No, that would have been actually put me down material. No, I've seen Perfect Blue. Might be my favorite Satoshi Kon film, honestly. I'd have to give it. I like Tokyo Godfathers a lot. I have also not seen that movie in a while. So I'm curious how I feel about it now, all these years later. I think Perfect Blue may be deep down my favorite, though. It's such a good movie. And I thought, you know, it's the perfect Halloween-y season for a watch of that film. And also, so I joined her membership when they opened up because of the new badge. She is my favorite. And then I saw she was doing that, and I was like, you know, there's something so bizarre about watching a movie about the horrors and exploitation of, like, being a performer and the idol stuff. With audio commentary from an amateur corporate VTuber, that, like, I feel like this is a very unique viewing experience that I wanted to see what that was like. And honestly, it was a pretty good time. I don't think her commentary was, like, super astounding or anything, but it's not like she was going into it with, like, huge critical, you know, like, taking critical swings. It was just like a, hey, let's all watch this together sort of thing. But then she did weigh in on some of her opinions on the movie and all that stuff, and it was just a pleasant time. Listening to commentaries when watching movies, good way to rewatch movies, IMO. It tends to shake up the experience, even if it's something you've seen quite a few times. So,
Mal, are you okay?
Me?
Yeah, you withstanding this. You okay?
I am acting similar to a character who I will discuss in a few minutes and dissociating to shut it all down.
I see.
I have one last thing that Mel can also relate to, because we continued the Toho Power Hour, and we watched the Mysterians.
Ooh.
I hate to jump the gun, but was the Mysterians good?
I liked it a hell of a lot. It also feels like I understand Ultraseven
I was gonna say that.
a lot more now.
I was gonna say, come here, like, okay, my thesis is if this movie was 30 minutes and there was a giant red guy in the middle for some reason, it would be an Ultra 7 episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's funny how the Mysterians... I never knew what the Mysterians looked like, actually, until I turned on this movie.
The Japanese title for this movie is Earth Defense Force.
Yes. There's a point in this movie where the Cold War ends and they go, we need to create an Earth Defense Force, and I lost my goddamn mind.
Okay, continue.
I didn't realize that the aliens just, like, they're just Sentai suit people.
Yeah. I forgot that.
So that was interesting. Yeah, Mel, did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was alright. I feel like it was a movie where I wasn't... Like, the first time I watched it with a friend, and a friend was like, oh man, this is, like, so cool. This is, like, my favorite of the kaiju movies. And meanwhile, I'm like, that was alright. I don't know if I'm just, like, not clicking with it as much, but, you know, it's definitely a cool movie, though. I'm not thinking it's bad, for sure. It's good.
I think it might be up there for me. I have a soft spot for Rodan a lot, and I don't think that this necessarily unseats that, or Godzilla, but, like, it's in that same class for me, definitely. Does a very classic alien invasion plot type thing, but I like the flavor of it, where there's a giant, like, robot mole mecha kaiju attack in the beginning, and then flying saucers are everywhere, and then the aliens show up and they're like, well, we're pacifists and you attacked us first, actually, and that is just objectively not true, and everyone knows this.
The mole robots, just to make sure you know how strong they are.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we're just refugees. We just needed you to give us this land that we've already taken. Also, we had a nuclear war, and our women are poisoned, so we need these 5 specific human women.
Yeah.
Which are all, coincidentally, people you personally know.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing is, like, so there's one human astrophysicist guy who knows about the aliens in advance, basically, because he's been studying, like, what the remnants of what their home planet are. And everyone thinks he's a quack. No one fucking believes him until, obviously, it all turns out to be true. But he betrays the human race and sides with them because he's like, they'll be able to take care of the Earth better than we did because they blew up their own planet. And they don't want to see someone else make that mistake. So they can be trusted more than we can with Earth. But then also, he agrees to have his ex-fiancée and his younger sister be kidnapped and forcefully married for the purposes of mating, so that they can, like, have healthier offspring that aren't all, like, irradiated, and it's so fucking weird. This is a weird decision, my guy.
It is interesting that it seems to be, like, a common thread even in Ultra 7 episodes that we've seen. Just like, oh, they're coming for a woman kind of thing.
Oh yeah, there was that episode about using women as farms.
I mean,
which
there's also Alien Spell where they're like collecting women's blood until they decide that children's blood's better.
Oh yeah. Future Red here. If you don't want the ending of Mysterians spoiled, skip to 3140.
And I guess we could spoil the movie. I think that's fine in these, I'd say. But he, of course, at the end, he decides to do the right thing, and he just fucking, in the middle of, well, okay, actually, I should back up. So, Jun is once again our main character, Kenji Sahara. Because of course he is. Does a phenomenal job, as always. Love this man.
Hell yeah.
But the Cold War ends, and the nations of Earth unite because, obviously, they don't want to give their land and their women over to these aliens, so they start attacking, and then the aliens go, well, you attacked us, so we want even more land now, and we're just gonna keep taking more if you keep attacking us. We're pacifists, but you're forcing our hand here. So then eventually the Cold War comes to an end because the USSR and America are like, okay, we this is clearly a bigger issue. They create the Earth Defense Force, create some fuck off huge radar like laser cannon things, to start doing a massive artillery shootout between the alien base and their new cannons. And then we cut to June going like, aren't the women are still inside, and the professor's like, I don't know, it's too late to stop it now. And he's like, I'm gonna go in there and get them out before we blow that up. And then he meets up with Ryoichi, the astrophysicist that betrayed them, and yeah. And he helps free the women, and then he goes, okay, I'm gonna go blow up their engines so that they can't escape, and you can successfully blow them up, and sacrifices himself in a big shootout. It looks pretty sick, honestly. I love the design of the alien ship. It's a lot of glowing tubes and weird shapes just floating in cylinders. And then the Mysterians fuck off, and we're left with ominous Earth Defense Force satellites now surrounding Earth, saying, well, we're watching in case they ever come back. The end.
The TDF.
Yeah,
It's
Earth
a
Defense
prequel.
Force also now makes more sense.
Damn. I
Yeah.
hadn't realized it was a prequel to Ultra 7, basically.
All of the alien invasion stuff made a lot more sense after watching this movie. I had a pretty good time with it.
It is interesting, just like,
oh, go ahead.
because like a lot of alien invasion stuff, at least in Ultra 7, feels like it's Cold War spy thriller basically mentality. Where you can have, like, the aliens-
meanwhile, Mysterians is about after the Cold War's finished.
Yeah, even though it's still doing the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very, like, humans can come together in the face of adversity despite, creed, nationality, like, all that stuff. It's very optimistic about the human spirit. It's just, we need to... Listen, if we all focus our shared hatred onto a greater enemy...
So what you're saying
that's
is...
all over this movie.
Zero's Requiem.
Yes.
celestial being.
Celestial being. Unite the world. Alright. Nice.
Yeah. Also, just an interesting thing I learned that maybe, like, one, it is funny to me that, like, the plot of the plot of the movie is Ichiro Honda basically going, settler colonialism is bad, proceeds to show the US is the good guys.
Classic.
Also, apparently, I learned listening to a podcast called Castle Bravo, where apparently during World War II, Ishiro Honda, as like part of his draft in the Japanese army, was like stationed at a comfort station, and then later did a memoir about like his experiences and also the experiences of the woman that he spoke to there. Not very high opinions, I think, of the Japanese military this man has, and I wonder if like some of that is part of his, like, this movie is him putting some of that criticism in out there. Even
Interesting.
Oh, him. Yeah.
There is a strain of this movie where the aliens, there's like an initial bout of violence, and then the aliens go, okay, we want these specific scientists to talk to. And then it cuts to the Japanese military guys all going, fucking get the guns ready, we're just gonna blow the shit up. Like, which was pretty effective, I thought.
there's a really good part.
Oh, go ahead.
There's a good part in the final battle where they're sending out the second mole robot, and then like a satellite dish just falls on it and it dies.
Yes, that was incredible.
The comfort women angle definitely gives me much better vibes coming off this movie than when it's just like me just trying to work through just like careless, like, oh, we just need these women for breeding. As like
it feels like it's
a pointed
easy when
thing.
you go on. It feels like it's easy without the background info of Ishiro Honda and like the Earth Defense War thing to like glean the invasion clause, the typical like the other coming to
The
defeat
classic.
us and take our women thing, which is obviously can be often is racially tinged as much as it is like an ideological thing in the Cold War. But you know, it is softened a bit by like the other context around it.
Yeah.
Real thing
apparently
Japanese
this
military
was-
did.
I guess.
Yeah. Apparently this was his favorite movie, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Nice.
I can see it, just like I think that the fact that the kaiju stuff is kept to a minimum. Honestly, I didn't even know that there was like a kaiju thing in this movie. And then like a giant robot mole shows up in the first like 10 minutes and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I think that you get to have a little bit more fun when it's like an alien invasion thing with like you got the spaceships, you have the stuff with the alien base on the ground, also the robot mole, playing around with the fun different sets and the costumes and all that stuff. Like I could see how this could be a little bit more intricate and fun to make, and also like going off of what you're talking about with the story too. Like maybe this was a little bit more personal as well in a way that you just found satisfying to make. So
Yeah.
Nice.
good movie. What do we have up next on? We have Varen, right?
We have Baron, the Unbelievable. After that, I think is Gorath for us because you watched Mothra earlier in this podcast. But I'll
Yeah.
probably rewatch it myself, and then we can talk about it a little bit then. And then yeah, we'll see from there.
We will see.
All right.
Mel, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I got stuff.
Okay. Shoot.
Okay, so first, there is a show I finished. However, it was a show Red was also watching. So I'm just gonna put a pin in it for later.
Yeah, sure. If I haven't watched it by next week, you're fine to talk about it. Just
Yeah.
you know, careful around. But we were watching along. There was like an idea. The idea was like watching it like kind of a rate of like an episode a day, and then the room next to mine flooded, and the trajectory of my week changed drastically like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't watched any really since. So I will see if I watch it this week or not. Who knows?
Yeah, and I might watch the movies that came out last year for the show, just because I wanted to do that, and then maybe do some reading so I know what the fuck I'm saying. Talk about it, because you'll find out when we talk about the show. It was a rewatch for me, but still like big brain stuff.
I mean, am I allowed to say the show was Penguindrum?
You can say it.
Yeah, the show was Penguindrum.
Ikuhara is himself.
Yeah, I got like 14, 15 episodes in, and then couldn't make myself watch anymore. Not because I wasn't having a good time, but just because brain. Anyway, rip.
Yeah. And then the same day I finished something else.
What did you finish?
I finished Xenogears.
How was Xenogears?
On the whole, a good time. But is a truly interesting and bizarre, unique game that by all rights should not exist. And technically speaking, there is like a platonic ideal of this game that should have existed, but due to game development realities does not. Disc 2 is a bizarre experience where it feels like F91 in the sense that, like, this is a compilation of something that doesn't exist in its full form.
So the point where I stop, the furthest I've ever gotten into Xenogears is around where Disc 2 begins. And I got like just enough of like the weirdness of that to be like, But like the way I've always heard it is like there will literally be times where you'll cut to like narration and then they'll be like, yeah, and then we did some JRPG stuff, and then you just cut to a dungeon.
Yeah. And like there's some parts where it's like, we could not do this dungeon, so you get narration of, oh yeah, we did this dungeon.
That is so interesting to me.
It's a lot of
I can't wait to experience it.
It's a lot of cutscenes and like what I could describe as like visual novel narration summarizing things that you would do in like a regularly paced JRPG, with some boss fights in between, and like a couple dungeons, but like it is. In a way, I think it's like between having the game like this and like not having disc 2 and just having half the story that is still better, but is still like a truly bizarre and interesting experience where it feels like this game was more ambitious than the realities of production at the time could allow.
Are you going to go full sickos and read through all of Perfect Works?
That is a thing I want to do next. And I'm also going to start Soga soon, but like, yeah, I am going to like go through Perfect Works just for context. Perfect Works is like the story bible they did where there's like, this is the complete version of the story that we can put in, which I guess you could say is the case where the creators are like, no, the stuff in the cutting room floor is more real even than the game.
And also even like, here's a broad outline of the multimedia episodic plan we had for the full series that we wanted to make.
The most unhinged thing in the entire game, which is saying a lot because there's so much that's just insane. Is just like getting credits and just being like Xenogears episode 5. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yes, I miss this era of JRPGs so much. We're making something. Fuck it. Tactics Ogre is part 7 of the Ogre Battle Saga for some fucking reason. Ogre Battle was part 6. Department Heaven is like a 9-part series and only 3 games came out. We need more JRPGs that are like, yeah, we're fucking we're installment number whatever, and then it just never finishes. That's where all the good shit is.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a quick aside on that note. I won't say what, but there is an Ultraman season with that mentality.
Yes! That is the best. Please promise more than you can deliver. That's where all the good shit is.
Right,
that's where you get the good brain juices
You can
flowing.
continue that discussion. I'm going to scan the list, and by the end I'm going to have a guess for you as to which one it is, and you're not going to answer.
Okay. But yeah, it's an interesting story. It's like... So I also watched some videos in the meantime, and apparently it's like, it's easy to look at this game and see it as like inspired by Evangelion, just because it is both like, it's going deeply into like both psychological themes of Jungian philosophy, with things like anima, animus, persona, outright as lore terms, while also deep in the Jewish mysticism, Gnosticism whole. But also it seems like development-wise, Evangelion and Xenogears reached those things separately just because this was the shit that Takahashi and his wife, because it's like the two of them together. I wish I knew her name. I gotta look it up so I don't dishonor her. They're just into that stuff. Also, obviously, everyone in this game, making this game, really likes... Okay, Kaori Tanaka is his wife. Okay. They're both like sort of like the brains behind the Xeno series together, which is cool. But yeah, everyone here just really likes mecha stuff, and you can see like there's tributes to it. There's like things named explicitly after stuff from like Gnosticism or parallels built in with a plot. One of the villains is named after a character from Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood's End. A character gets frozen in carbonite because it's that kind of thing. There's a lot of references, and it's like not like you need to know them to experience the game, but it's just kind of like they work it in well thematically. And like, you know, Takashi apparently like was like, you know, Jungian philosophy is actually kind of nonsense, but does make for interesting storytelling. There's just a lot of fun stuff in the background stuff I want to look into more, just because like apparently one character, the designers was like, yeah, I gave this guy the his stomach, his like chest design is based off the F-91. There was a character named Margie who was like supposed to be a party member, and like she's kind of like a cleric person. I was like, okay, we'd have a cute cleric girl, and then I find out, oh yeah, she was supposed to have guns and grenades, and so she'd basically be like a BB Hood as a party member. I'm like, shit, we were robbed.
Damn. Oh, that's a crime.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters who get the short end of the stick just because they're like less important, but also like the characters that do get focused are all get like good character development. Like Faye, who's basically spoilers, but also, you know, it broadly speaking, he's like multiple personalities, and like as a result of trauma, and like there's interesting stuff explored there with his different personas. Just stuff about like reincarnation and multiple life memories, like Dune. There's also this one of the most incredible screenshots I've seen in any game, which I'm going to post in the chat.
I'm going to see if I can describe it. It's
Yes.
the Ultra 7. It's Ultra 7. It better be fucking Ultra 7. It's
Can you guys describe what is happening?
it's guys on... First of all, there's mechs on crosses, but also there's a giant, like, Furby.
Yes, because you have a party member who's your funny little mascot Blorbo, and he doesn't have a mech, he just gets big.
Yeah.
So when the time comes for all the mechs to get crucified, he just gets crucified.
Gets crucified at Golgotha.
I can't wait for
Yes.
Ultra 7 to make a Xenogears reference at the end of the
Famous.
show.
This is a famous image from this game.
It's like evocative, but also just it's so funny because crucifying the robots and then it pans over and gets the Jewish shit.
He's just giant pink and white Furby.
Like I feel like the mechs on their own are funny enough crucifying, but they get
It's amazing.
How cool is the Xenogears when it actually shows up?
oh, it's fucking sick. It's
Okay,
cool.
because I know it's
didn't-
right at the tail end. That's the only thing I know about its presence in the story.
You
Well, I
see,
didn't
hang on,
know-
it's surfboard Dracula.
Yes.
Fuck.
It's,
the Xenogears is the big mech that the protagonist uses right at the end.
Yeah, it does the approach of certain Gundam seasons where like the Xenogears is not the base mech but the final form mech.
Mm-hmm.
All the robots are pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kotoki did mecha design in this game, so of course it is. The combat system's interesting with the way it's like you have like a martial arts system with like death blows on the ground, and like you have mech battles, and as you learn more death blows as like on the ground characters, that translates into more death blows for your mechs. Mechs also have a fuel system, so there's a lot of decision making in terms of like not overusing your resources kind of thing. But also like the death blow system is not really thought out as well, because it's basically a system of grinding to get stronger moves, and once you get this one move, it becomes useless to use the lower ones, more or less. There's a part in Disc 2 where for a single boss battle that's really weak, a character gets a super strong mech, and it's pretty cool, but also it's just kind of endemic of Disc 2 where it's like, we can build up to this, it's really an isolated thing, but we did want to put it in the game because it's sick. And yeah, it's got interesting themes of like, you know, bonds and like trauma, etc. I don't want to get too much in spoilers because I know Raz and
I need to finish it.
Yeah.
I made a bingo of games I intend to complete next year, and that is on there.
Also,
Yeah.
yes, Ryzen intends to finish it, but it is entirely possible someone has tuned in to hear about Ultraman, and it would be very funny if just like through no fault of their own, we spoiled a game they were really excited to get to eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was gonna go more depth spoilers, I'd just like be more explicit.
Although
So
I
talk about the end.
did say this podcast was for us, and everyone else was a guest.
Another sick thing. There's a character who's like kind of shifty, and you find out more about them as the game goes on. And then at some point, they're like the most of the game they fight with their bare hands, and at some point near the end of disc 1, they get a sick ass sword, and then all their attack animations change to them using a sword, and they do more damage now, and it's sick. And then his robot also starts using a sword. It's so cool. It's so sick.
I respect how they have kept that one vocalist who sang "Small Two of Pieces." Amazing 90s JRPG song, by the way. And she, up to the latest Xenoblade 3 like DLC campaign thing, has been kept on to make songs. I think that's very fun.
Yeah. Is
Joanne Hogg, I believe is her name.
So you've taken your first step to picking whether your wife is the red woman or the white woman, yeah.
It'll be a while before I get the blade, but
Now, Mel, before you get there, you have to watch Expelled from Paradise, if only because it's the same. It's just he just put the character in the game.
Wait,
I don't understand.
Wait. What's the who got?
Okay, hold on. Here, okay, Expelled from Paradise.
No, I've seen
He just reused the design.
I've seen Expelled from Paradise. Is it the same design as what's her face?
Yeah, he just reused the design.
that's
basically.
really funny.
I hadn't thought about this.
I'm putting them both in chat, but me and my friends have always laughed. Of course, when I look up fucking Mithra, I get not Xenoblade. I'm silly, but these are the same person. Me and my friends always laugh about this, like down to like the random thigh, down to the random thigh strap and everything.
But, you know what? This is so damning.
I had never
That's really
seen
funny.
them side by side. People should watch Expelled from Paradise if only to see a cowboy jam with a robot.
That does sound pretty cool. Also, it's funny to me that the
it's a
subtitle
silly
to Perfect Works is called The Real Thing.
This shit ain't fake. Nintendo seal of approval.
Mel, I'm excited for you to get to Xenosaga, the second attempt at making a 6-part series that got cut short.
Yeah. Into 3 games.
Jesus is in that one, I know that.
The
so
Mithra
it's
design
like
is so much better than the Expelled from Paradise girl.
That's true. I agree.
I can agree with that.
I'm just looking at these side by side. I'm looking at the weird black titty bars that just like extend over, and like compared to like Mithra's kind of nice dress.
I'm a sicko who like both wants to play the Xenosaga games, but also wants a fan translation of the DS ports of 1 and 2, so I can try those too.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they changed the plot of 2 a bunch in the DS version.
Oh, interesting.
To, I guess, make it close to the original vision they wanted, which is also interesting to me.
Interesting. I knew a guy who had played those, and like he knew Japanese, and he said he didn't like them as much, but I'm curious now. I did not know that they changed the plot around.
Yeah, and also obviously there's gonna be gameplay differences because you're not gonna put a PS2 game on the fucking DS.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. But yeah, it's just interesting. Xenogears is definitely an interesting game. I think it's worth your time. There's a lot of like rough edges just because the game it is, but it's also really ambitious, and there's a lot of things that are well done. And even in like its unfinishedness, it's like more jarring than incompetent. Like they're clearly like, we can't finish this the way we want. We're still going to try and finish it as best we can. And unfortunately, it's like the weakest bit is like half the party member is not really relevant.
The fastest way to getting the most out of video games is to develop develop an appreciation for jank. Is like the moment you've done that, you're good. You're set for life. once you've got that, you can play games that are ambitious in ways that are like self-sabotaging.
Yeah. Mel, can please tell me the thing everyone else has told me. Disc 2 isn't that long, right? Like, I probably could have just finished that game.
I think it's. I want to check, like, because like I stream the game, so I could literally just check my VODs. It was like really shorter than expected. Like,
because the worst thing I've ever heard in my life was when I was like, yeah, I restarted Xenogears last time I got to the end of Disc 1, and then one of my friends, actually multiple of my friends, telling me in the same call, yeah, you could have just wrapped it up real quick. Disc 2 isn't that long, and then me dying on the inside.
God.
yeah, I'm just doing some
Owned.
math.
Yeah, I think that was the moment I became less of the, oh, I've taken too long of a break from this RPG, I need to restart from the beginning, because I used to have that really bad. And I think that was the thing that broke me, and I was like, I can't waste my life doing this every time.
Yeah, it took me less than 10 hours to do Disc 2.
Fuck. Whatever.
I also
Next
need to
time's
go.
the charm.
I also need to. Speaking of finishing an RPG, after months, I need to go back and finish FF6 and another.
Sick?
Yeah, FF6, because like I basically put that on pause to do the second half of Suikoden 2 and also do all of Xenogears, and I need to go back to it. I feel like I'll be cooler on the game after playing those two games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I suspect you're gonna prefer those two games to the rest of 6, from what I've heard.
Also, I need to finish Panzer June, so I got halfway through that game. Anyway.
You fucking gaming.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Alright, well. Are we good? Are we good? Should we talk about Ultra 7?
I wish
Yes.
we had a crucifixion in these episodes so we can segue, but we can't.
No.
One thing I noticed in the chat is that we, as of last episode, have watched 100 episodes of Showa era Ultra series stuff.
Damn. Prolific.
To commemorate the occasion, I've made a special cake. No.
Is it you and Alien Spell?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. How did you know?
Look at my Geronimon cake with like icing feathers.
It's like Alien Spell in one corner, my face in the other, the octopus from Fury of the South Seas, and then Geronimon.
Oh man.
There's just like a blotch of like cherry filling, and you go, "What's that?" And I go, "Oh, that's where Pigmon was."
Yes. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. That'd be a cake. God damn. Alright. Ultra 7. Let's talk about episode 34, The Vanishing City, which I think is the... So back when we started this season, I said I'd keep the summaries broader. They expanded a little bit, I think. So I expect what is going to continue to happen is I'm going to shorten them, and then they're going to lengthen with time, and then I'm going to realize that they've gotten too long and shorten them again. And I'm just accepting that that's a natural cycle that's going to continue. I am currently at they're a little shorter this week.
The many undulating summaries of the Ultra
It's
Q
a sine wave.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's episode 34. Dan and Soga, out on patrol at night, investigate the noise of a maintenance crew who seem to have their equipment unplugged. They pursue a blatant distraction and get teleported by aliens to who knows where. The Ultra Guard's search for the two gets interrupted by the discovery that a solid chunk of Tokyo has vanished into thin air, and where it was, there is now a strange foam which the Guard destroys. A medium contacts the Guard and says the aliens are in contact with her. The aliens communicate with the Guard through her, claiming that Dan and Soga are alive and they will return them and the city in due time. But for now, they're like refugees or something. They need to stop by on Earth before they continue on their way. The Ultra Guard aren't happy to wait, and they're a naturally suspicious bunch, so they conduct a search. The vanished city reappears in the countryside, and the whole squad goes to look around. They find everyone, all the civilians, Dan and Soga included, frozen in place. A man in a control room uses mind control to make Dan turn into Ultra 7 and fight the Ultra Guard. Furuhashi sneaks in, shoots the controller, releasing Ultra 7. The man in the control room turns into foam, and outside, the foam turns into a kaiju and fights Ultra 7. Ultra 7 wins, and the day is saved. The narrator wonders if maybe this chunk of city is happier now it's out in the countryside instead of in the middle of a city. The end.
I'm sure the countryside is very happy.
Yeah.
I love how there's like that little rest stop that everyone's gawking at the city, like showing up in the field, and you see all these extras trying their hardest to express interest, and they clearly were not being paid enough. It's so fucking funny.
And just grabbing, and Furuhashi's like, we're not gonna find shit out here. We should just go home. Let's just pack it up and go home. As he's bought her like a Coke, and he's drinking his own Coke, and she's like
chugging it.
Grabs his Coke and just pours it out on the ground like, bro, you suck.
No, it's even better than that, because he said this. He's like, okay, I don't think we're finding. And she's like, oh, that's so cold. And he's like, yeah, it is pretty refreshing.
He does. Furuhashi's great. He's the hero of this episode.
Honestly, good Furuhashi moment. I love that he got stuff to do. I do also like that little exchange with the sodas with Anne. I have this weird thing with this episode where I feel like there's a lot of really good little character bits and pieces and stuff I like. Like, I love how the medium is, honest to God, just a medium. Like, she doesn't actually matter so much. She's just like, hey, aliens are... I'm a telephone right now for all intents and purposes.
Yes.
These aliens got a message for you, and she just shows up every now and again to communicate some stuff. It's really fun. My one... Okay, I actually have two gripes with this episode. One, I kind of wish that Dan being controlled by them was maybe a little bit, like, I don't know. I feel like when you get these sorts of things where, oh no, the invincible hero is now under control of the villains, you can really get a lot of juice out of that narratively.
Yeah,
and
instead
I
they
feel
just
like
have him
maybe
like turn directly into Ultra 7 instead of like having him interact with the rest of the crew and be like an imposter.
Yeah, and I think they could have done maybe a little bit more with playing around with that. It just came and went a little too fast for me personally. And then also, I think we've discussed that the new guy's kaiju design philosophy is make them look pathetic. You also need to make them cool and intimidating, because yikes, what the fuck was that thing?
I think it's funny. Just like half the fight is just the kaiju running away from Seven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just running.
I feel like we haven't got as many city fight scenes in Ultra 7. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is good to get just like some them like standing like a foot clear of like buildings, like 4-story buildings or something.
When I think about it,
yeah.
like in the shows we've watched, the city fights have been pretty rare, and we've seen more city shots in like Blazer.
It has to be much more expensive, right?
I just
Like,
realized
it's a lot more work.
I just realized the mixed measurement of describing 4-story buildings and then saying that Ultraman and the kaiju are a foot above them. that's in people terms. Anyway, I think the city's good. I think the everyone being frozen conceit is like all right. I think everyone being stolen is it's kind of ultra QE in the way that Ultra 7 has been. But yeah, there's not much juice here. There's the strength of some of the Ultra 7 weird stuff has been it intersects with characters, and
like Soga.
Yeah, like Soga, and also new guys that could have been one of the Ultra Guard main cast, but stuff like the student at the university, him having character beats and stuff. That's kind of where the juice is. but it just being like weird thing happens, and then there's a fight, I think is a little bit falling into old habits.
Yeah.
Person who just saw Mysterians' voice reminds me a lot of the Mysterians.
True. I was thinking that a lot watching these episodes.
Damn. So, Mysterians fans, watch Ultraseven, clearly.
My uncle just texted me happy birthday. My birthday's in 10 days.
Bro.
Just thought I'd share that with the podcast.
God damn.
This was a Hajime Tsuburaya and written by Tetsuo Kinjo joint. I feel like this is extremely in line with their prior works.
That makes sense.
Not as good as the last Hajime Tsuburaya episode, but all right overall.
The last Hajime Tsuburaya episode was the best episode he's ever made.
I think that I was hesitant to agree with you at the time of the recording because I couldn't quite remember everything he had done, but I am inclined to agree with you.
I mean,
he
also did Baron Spider.
Oh shit! Oh no, that's big competition. I had forgotten that.
I might like it more than I don't know. Baron Spider is pretty fucking cool.
Okay. We'll have to return to this idea next time Hajime Tsuburaya directs an episode.
Yeah.
Didn't get any capsule monsters this time. Capsule kaiju. Yeah, it's kind of mostly vibes on this one. There's not like much to say. Oh, hang on. There is something to say. The villainy of Bubbles continues as foam is the enemy.
Find yourself someone who loves you as much as the Ultraseven special effects team loves Bubbles.
It's so funny to me because my first exposure to this was like watching original Kamen Rider, and in the early episodes, so many people just disintegrate into fucking foam to the point that in Shin Kamen Rider they do it again as like a pastiche.
Oh hell yeah!
And well, it's funny because of that they explain it. They're like, oh, this is how we make sure that they can't recover the bodies. They turn into foam when they die, which I thought was cute.
It's very to like find an in-universe lore reason for stupid 70s toku shorthands.
Yeah, listen, in this case, I think it's parentheses complimentary. I thought that was silly. I loved it. But it's so funny going backwards now because I'm just so used to it from Kamen Rider, and I was like, all right, sure, everyone turns into foam and bubbles and stuff, and just they love the bubbles in Ultra 7 and all the foamy
fucking love
funny
it.
stuff. Someone took a bubble bath between shows and was like, hold on.
Oh my god, I got an idea.
Moment.
Yeah.
Caesar's of hell yeah. Yeah, the them just shooting foam and it dissipating, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. There was a brief moment where the kaiju emerged from the foam, covered in the foam, and I was like, is this a suit that we've seen before and they're just gonna hide it by keeping it covered with foam the whole time? Did not last, unfortunately.
No. And then you see the suit and you're like, maybe they should have kept this one covered in foam. This guy's such a dweeb. I don't even remember his name.
What was his name?
I didn't write the name. I have it in like the kaiju.
Let me look at the book. Dankin. Foam Monster Dankin. That's no Dankin, Idaho, I'll tell you what.
Dankin.
A few people are.
This podcast is fucking illegible if you haven't read Dune. I've realized we should fix that. But actually, no. Go read Dune.
It's easy. We do the Dune podcast. We can't actually. SAG after. Actually, no. Wait, they're off strike. I don't know. Whatever.
The writers are off. I think SAG after are still striking, right? For now. I don't know. Last I checked, it was the writers that had won.
I think that may be the case.
By the way,
right.
The writers won. Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They won bigger than anyone could have predicted.
Taking action works.
Yeah. This is... You know what? I have an affection for this guy. I'm gonna be the Danken defender.
I think he does like the body check with the spikes that Garamond does in Blazer, which is fun.
There is a really good shot of Ultraseven eating shit and breaking a bunch of buildings as he falls. I believe it's this episode. Yeah, it is, because it wouldn't make sense to the other ones. And that part does look sick. I cared not for this little twerp's design.
This little twerp.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm a schoolyard bully.
God damn.
But you know,
It's fine. Red is a bully for Pigmon. You're allowed to be bully for Danken.
I'm more than a bully for Pigmon. I feel murderous every time I see that little thing. Not out of hatred, out of affection. I love to watch it die.
I have to apologize. I think I will take Danken over whatever the fuck we got on the moon, if we want to segue.
So, episode 35 is called Terror on the Moon. Remember Kurata, the guy who was the captain's old buddy? Well, Kurata is back, and he's got a mission. Investigate a mysterious crash on the moon. He'll be accompanied by his subordinate, who has a new telekinetic device, which will be important later. Kurata will also get assistance from the captain of the Ultra Guard himself, plus Dan. On their way to rendezvous, Kurata and the captain reminisce about the last time they went to space together, which was apparently to commit genocide. Lol. The captain and Dan start having problems with their ship. They lose communications, and the oxygen levels are all wrong, and the acceleration is botched. The captain's gut instinct is to blame Dan, which is ludicrous, because he's like the ace of the Ultra Guard, absolute perfect paragon human being. And it's just like stuff starts breaking, the ship turn around and say, "Oh, must be that fucker Dan." But the captain relents eventually. Kurata arrives at the crash first, and he and his guy head out in spacesuits. But the subordinate is constantly trying to unplug Kurata's tubes when he's not looking. And eventually Kurata notices, and the two fight. Unfortunately, the subordinate's tubes get unplugged. But he doesn't die. He's an alien. In fact, he's the last survivor of Kurata and the captain's genocide that they were feeling so nostalgic about earlier, which has got to be like him. The fact he was sitting in the ship plotting his revenge, and then the guy he was plotting on getting revenge on started gloating about the genocide.
Yeah, he's like we haven't sortied together since the time we wiped out alien Zampa from planet Hermes, and then they start like chuckling.
Absolutely
like, oh,
disgusting. Amazing.
Dan says nothing.
Dan says nothing. Dan's just.
Oh, can I say this from the book? I just saw this.
Go ahead.
His true identity is that of Zampa, a menace that Kurata and Kiriyama drove back 3 years ago.
It's fucking whitewashing history, dude. This is Dan this is an amazing shot in the third episode of Soga giving side eye. That was Dan in this whole ride. The moment he started bragging about things, it's just like, just like that. So, where was I? It was so funny that I lost my place.
Reveal that is the alien.
Yeah. This alien plans to get his revenge today, and he uses the telekinetic device to steal Kurata's gun and hold him hostage when the Ultra Guard arrives. From a 10-second conversation and observation, the captain and Dan both figure out what's going on here and immediately gun down the alien.
Kiriyama's like, there's no way this man would not be carrying heat.
He knows his boy.
Kiriyama and original Ultraman united in purpose.
Yeah.
Every time he goes to the grocery store, he conceals carries. I know Kurata.
They then flee with Kurata back to their ships as a kaiju appears. Kurata escapes off the surface of the moon, and the captain is stuck waiting for Dan, who has turned into Ultraseven to fight the alien. Ultraseven is having a rough time of it because he has to fight in the dark of the moon where it's cold as fuck. However, a meteor falls to the moon and explodes, which is heat enough to revive Ultraseven, and he finishes off the kaiju.
I thought this was so stupid. We can talk about it later.
Dan and the captain fly away in their ship and meet Kurata, who was just coming back to the moon to rescue them. They fly side by side and tease each other a bit and go like, you old dog, you, etc., etc., at the end.
While Anne stares wistfully at the moon.
Anne is doing, Noriko's friend from school in Gunbuster in, like, the last episode. Watching the stars.
I know they'll come back.
Yeah. Well, listen, if this episode ended... no.
I know what you mean, though.
if we could get a welcome home in an Ultra show sometime, that'd be pretty funny. It's like the one thing of Anno that I'm like, that's yours. That's like everything else of yours is like stolen but kind of rearranged. That thing, that's yours. That's your thing. If he stole that too, that's really funny. But for now, he gets away with it. So this episode, I would describe as kind of a joke, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The monster is lumps of rock with a glowy red bit?
Yeah, I'm like, on one hand, I kind of appreciate that's like so out there and different, but on the other hand, it doesn't really look good.
No. Also, does it have anything to do with the alien?
Shrug.
I don't know.
I think it's just a monster that lives on the moon that they accidentally woke up. It's got nothing to do with the plot of the episode.
I do think it's funny how this survivor, with every right to want revenge by all means, like shows up for like 2 minutes, acts a little bit Joker-fied, and then immediately gets shot in the face.
It's really
Alien
funny.
chat play moment.
Yes. Doing alien chat play stuff. This was not a good plan. This is a really terrible plan.
I also want to point out, he's like, I was waiting for the next time you two teamed up again, as if that didn't happen in episode 13 already.
Well, see, he caught wind, like, oh shit, they're getting the band back together.
Here's the thing, you can drop the genocide thing entirely. You can drop that and just say that it's a survivor of that alien attack.
Yeah,
it's really
the fact
easy
that they
to make
specifically
television.
use the term, I want to say they used the term, at least like the English translated subs they were using. I am 95% certain that they used the term wiped out,
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do phrasing. Just a slight change would have gone a long way here.
Yeah, if they had just phrased it as like, fought, like just that
Fended
word,
off.
anything. But no, they're like said that we wiped out the alien on planet Hermes, and I was like, okay, bro, wild.
I do think there's good atmospheric parts in the episode when they get to the moon.
Him like reaching for the tubes and like his shadow playing across the surface, and that's how Kurata catches him in the act. There's some like good like basic just tension
Tone stuff.
It's just a shame that the resolution is I know my bro and you're not one of us, and gun you down immediately.
I was so mad because I was like, oh, it's Captain Kurata again, and then it was this.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool we got like a returning character and some degree of continuity. I feel like we didn't get that as much in Ultraman outside of the Bolton job again, but like
and I guess to pull back the curtain, I guess it makes sense because it was the same writer, Shinichi Ichikawa, and then this was directed by Toshitsugu Suzuki. He also has written, so he wrote Man Who Came from V3, Ichikawa. then also did Return to the North, and then Earthling All Alone, which is the Soga episode we really liked with the professor.
Mm-hmm. Which one was Return to the North?
That was the one with the
Kurashi's ball.
alien pole.
No.
Wait.
Oh.
No, shit, you're right. That's the Wyndham one with the
Oh yeah,
alien Kanan.
That's
Karashi
alien
did Doctor's
Kanan.
mom.
Yeah.
that's a fantastic episode.
Yeah. This was
Not yeah.
a miss for him.
They can't.
Also,
you know.
Because I think we were pretty up on Return to V3 as well too, because it gave the captain some character with the Kurata friendship stuff and all that.
I think we were maybe drawing blood from a stone. That was not one.
It was an okay episode.
It was an okay episode.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the best one, but we were like, hey, the captain's got a guy. He seems cool. He does still seem cool.
Yeah.
Kurata, like I do think Kurata's all right. I wish he'd get a decent episode.
Yeah.
I wish he was a war criminal.
No, I wish he was more of a war criminal. It'd be great.
Also, alien pole clapping in the fight this episode.
Yes. It would be really funny if every time Ultraseven suffers from cold, Alien Pole rocks up like,
Stock fire effect background. You're gonna freeze to death, Ultraseven.
I think they did like the timer thing again because it was cold this time. So
oh, the timer goes off when it's cold. There we go. It's solved. He hasn't got a color timer. He's got a cold timer. Now, I think let's do a quick dodgy science check-in. First of all, Ultraseven continues to fuck around with putting Ultraseven in like temperatures, like cold temperatures that aren't available anywhere on Earth. And obviously, they are in space. But like, if he's weaker to cold than a human being, like he should be instantly dead at -180 degrees Celsius.
I will say, at least in this case, just a quick Google search. The temperature they give is at least feasible on the moon at night.
Yeah, like that. Like that's the bit that it's like, I'll give you that. But if he's weak to it, he's dead. And the other thing, I'm pretty sure there's just a dark side of the moon, right? It doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah. Night falls where they are on the moon.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure isn't it like the same side?
it's so like I think I forget the science of it, but it's like the moon is like one side faces the Earth and one side faces away from the Earth.
Yeah.
But like I do think like the light from the sun does change, and that's where you get the phases of the moon. But
Oh, it takes approximately 27 days for the moon to rotate on its axis. As a result, the moon does not seem to be spinning, but appears to observers from Earth to be keeping almost perfectly still. It's got synchronous rotation.
yeah,
So like,
that's the word.
so like the side of the moon that's facing away, that's just that's where the night
because
is.
of that, a lunar day, as in like sunrise to sunset, is 29.5 Earth days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh no, I'm thinking about this all wrong then. No, you know what? Completely ignore me. I've been thinking about this as though the Earth is where light comes from. Forget this. Cancel. We're done. So yeah. The rest of this episode, fight with the kaiju, is kind of shoddy.
The meteor thing is so dumb.
It's really
It's like, how is Ultraseven gonna get out of it now? And a meteor starts falling, and Kurata sat in his ship goes, "Oh look, a meteoroid," and then it crashes into the thing and bursts into flames, and Ultraseven gets up like, it's fixed now. I can fight.
he should have done what he did with the alien pole and just fly to the sun and come back.
He should do that every time he gets a little chilly.
You just put some fucking hand warmers on this guy. He'd be fine for a while.
Yeah. Maybe just use some of you've got power.
I need to take Dan shopping. We can get a good Midwestern fit for him, and you'll never have to worry about this again.
Reach into the future and take inspiration from Macross and Max Genius and just have Ultraseven get a form where he puts on a winter coat.
Yeah.
Midwestern Dan Moroboshi. God damn. Do we have a no capsule kaiju this episode either? All right. Do we have anything?
I think this might be my least favorite episode of the show we've watched so far.
Oh boy.
How does it compare to Alien Spell?
I mean, that episode looks good because it's Jisoji.
Yeah, it's just evil.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like there's unfortunate stuff there, but at least like the actual look and vibe of it is strong.
Let me have a quick look. Just scroll up from the top. Enter Dan Moroboshi face. I'm not keen on Space Captive 303, but that's it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean it might be. It's not good.
No.
Yeah. Rip.
Well, that's okay, because next episode...
It's fucking time. Let's talk about Soga. A
Yeah.
lethal 0.1 seconds is the title I have for episode 36. Soga loses a TDF shooting competition to Hirota and gives up the trophy amicably, while the rest of the Ultra Guard feel like Hirota gloated a little too much. Soga says he's a good guy, but the pistol gets in the way of their friendship. Which is, this is yaoi to me. Hirota, however, is maybe not such a good guy after all. He did a deal with an alien to win that competition, and now the alien wants something from him. Later, Soga and Hirota are tasked with protecting a professor who is developing an artificial sun because aliens are trying to assassinate him. An assassination attempt takes place, the escorts are all murdered, and Hirota shoots Soga before fleeing the scene. Soga wakes up in the infirmary and suspects Hirota might be the one who shot him. It turns out the professor that got killed was a double, so we'll just try again, but with the real professor this time. Soga confronts Hirota and gets him to admit that you were the guy who shot me. I can tell because you have a wound on your face from where I shot you back. But he tries to call authorities via the landline and gets stunned by an alien signal. He's kidnapped, taken to the alien spaceship. These aliens can't survive in Earth's is it pressure?
Atmosphere.
Yeah, I got atmosphere.
Okay, Earth's atmosphere, but want to convert the planet into a forward operating base for future invasions elsewhere, I guess. So they've been hypnotizing humans to do their work for them. The alien hypnotizes Soga and returns him. When the real professor arrives and a new assassination attempt takes place, Soga gets knocked out of his hypnosis by an explosion, and he pursues Hirota, who has taken the professor hostage. Soga tries to convince Hirota he's hypnotized, but Hirota doesn't buy it, and the two know there's only one thing left to do. They go for their guns and both fire, but it's Hirota that falls. The professor is saved, and Soga places on Hirota's chest, he places both of the revolvers in like a cross in a mark of respect. The end.
This episode fucking rules.
Soga got a fucking episode.
It is pretty cool.
Peak toxic masculinity with the rivalry, but
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Why is this competition even so important anyways?
He's the marksman. He has to defend his title. The truth,
Why would you sell your soul to the devil for this competition?
It is so funny the lengths he is willing to go and ends up dying for proving himself.
This is a weird reach, but I sometimes think about how Battlestar Galactica, the newer show, replicates toxic masculinity, but for women with Starbuck is so desperate to cling to the number one position where she almost gets herself killed in an episode when she's having like a similar competition with some newbie. Yeah, this Hirota is like the thing that happens is Soga, he loses his footing, which I guess was just, alien forces just making him trip.
No, he's like Gento, unable to trip while standing up.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. The meat of this episode is some spy shit. Where we know who the traitor is, and we have to escort a guy to safety, and the traitor is on the escort. He's involved, and it's just some good, like, it's funny that for this one episode, all the lasers and stuff gone. We got fucking guns.
Yeah.
We're shooting bullets at each other.
I think it's funny that Dan and Amagi are like, oh, the guy got away in the secret tunnel. And they go to the secret tunnel, and then the wall opens up, and you see the word secret tunnel about it.
Yes, it was great.
Oh, man. It's good. I also write secret tunnel wherever I put a secret tunnel. I just think Soga's just cool is the thing. We've known this for a while. The weight of Soga being cool has hung over the show. It was about time it happened.
Why are they building an artificial sun?
In case Balunga comes back.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. God.
I was thinking about Balunga the whole time. Every time they brought up the artificial sun thing, I was thinking about Balunga.
With artificial suns, you could raise Balungas.
True. Then more than Alien Zampa would have to worry, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. We would
all of the aliens team up to stop Earth.
To stop Earth from, propelling Balungas around the galaxy.
We are the Mysterians.
The last Balunga is in captivity. The galaxy's in peace.
The baby.
Oh my fucking god. Let's go.
Okay. We have to give our man credit. We've shit-talked him before, including the last episode. Directed by Samaji no Nagase.
Yes, let's go.
Congrats, dude. You
Nice.
did it.
Nice.
You got a good one.
You got a good one.
Written by Hiroyasu Yamaura, who previously had done the Totala episode. I believe the M1 episode. God damn it! I foiled myself again by just writing Train episode of Ultra Q. I can't remember which one. And the Ragon episode.
You can't even distinguish by the good Train episode and the bad Train episode, because one of them's kind of and one of them's kind of
Yeah. Here, let me look up.
How do you feel about Alien Pekka?
It's like if Sully from Monsters Inc. joined a satanic cult and that's what they had him wear for the initiation. I love it a lot.
I like the... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I think this just seems like Ikea's rule of like look into fashion magazines for inspiration is coming through in this design, especially.
That makes sense. I like the conceit of just, why are the aliens using humans? Well, because, I can't survive out there on Earth. It's very straightforward. I'm an alien.
Remember when I said, I want to say it was earlier in Ultraseven, that sometimes I just wish they would allow a person or a human to be the problem.
Do you wish that Hirota wasn't hypnotized?
See, but my read of it is I feel like there's just enough of him still in there to be down for it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like the thing where he's doing the deal with the devil hypnotism thing, but also it's him choosing it and going along with it.
Yes,
Yeah,
Soga gets knocked out of it very quickly.
yes, I was very happy with everything involving him siding with the aliens on this. Like, I legitimately felt like, oh, this is what I wanted when I brought that up more in the show, is like, this guy knows what he's doing and is definitely in on it in a way that I appreciate, that they can, sometimes people can be the problem too. We finally gotten that. So
I'm a fan of this rivalry. I've already mentioned it, but there's amazing shot of the two of them side-eyeing each other when they're given the mission.
yes.
Holding up a gun and saying this gets in the way of our friendship, I'm just like, yes, give it to me. This is perfect.
I would say this is better than the last time we had a one-off episodic rival who dies at the end for a character to bounce off
Who
of.
was that?
Aoki.
Who?
The guy throwing the grenades at the tank.
Oh. Yeah. It's different. The rivalry is mutual here. That episode is more he's too eager to prove himself. And this episode is like Hirota's kind of stuck.
And I also just feel it's true, and I feel like I'll feel this way for a lot of these shows to come. I think when you have an episodic one-off character like this that isn't going to be returning, I think it's just more interesting if you have them bounce off of someone who isn't Dan, or like the main guy.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then you get to flesh out the other cast more.
Like how Furuhashi bounced off his mom.
Yeah.
Bounced off hard. Just like, you know what? Not talking to her.
I will
just gonna
fly
get
above
bullied
her
and
house,
have my coke spilled on the ground below.
Yeah.
By my friend.
Furuhashi is always suffering.
Remember when he tried to steal Dan's raise and he got electrified?
I do remember. It's amazing. Are you Dan Moriboshi? Yes. Oh, what a perfect human being. I don't have much for this episode. It's well made.
It's really good.
It's the core rivalry is satisfying. And Soga gets some time in the sun. What's even the kaiju fight in this episode?
There isn't one.
I think Ultraseven just like kills Pekka.
Oh yeah. Ultraseven
he just beats the shit out of Pega.
Ultraseven goes into the spaceship and beats the
I think what happens is like Ultraseven at his big Ultraseven tries to fight the spaceship but can't get past the guns, so he just shrinks and goes inside and takes out the alien directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, please leave, and the guy's like, no, I'm not gonna, and he just beats the shit out of
If
him.
I was the alien, you know what I'd do if Ultraseven asked me to leave? I'd leave.
Yeah,
I'd go. I'd run away. I'd be like, yes, boss, absolutely. You're in charge. Bye-bye.
You should be thankful he even gave you the opportunity.
Yeah.
The aliens in this show picking a fight with Ultraseven are like that one Arrested Development clip where it's like, does this ever work? It's like, well, no, it never does, and they always convince themselves it would, but maybe it'd work for us.
Yes. Yeah. I could do it. I could take him. I'm just built different. Rip to 2 billion Boltons. I'm built different. Yeah. All right. No Capsule Kaiju this week either. No Capsule Kaiju at all. For all 3 episodes. They'll be back, maybe. Maybe we're going into another 20 episodes.
Yeah. 4 episodes since. I'm going to keep track of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, just one last thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Cydrixar is taking advantage of email privileges to let us know it's his birthday today. So, hey, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'll tell my uncle, because clearly he mixed up your birthday and mine.
Wait, today that we're recording?
The time of recording.
Okay, happy birthday for 5 days ago. 5 days ago.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you for emails, as usual.
Yeah. It's been very, very informative, actually. Cedric is essential to the experience.
Also, preemptive thank you for the Ultra Fight playlist.
I do have one thing. So, the Ultra 7 has by now completely given up on plot summaries. They're just not there. It's literally just TBA on the wiki.
Clearly, you have to look at the kaiju pages.
Clearly, I'd have to look at the
Don't do
kaiju.
this.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
do
I'm not going to do this. Don't worry.
Main reason I advise against that is just because you don't want to get told, oh yeah, this guy shows up in...
Here's the thing. It's very funny that I'm complaining about this, and I have a bunch of summaries written
I was about
on
to
the
say.
drive. But the problem is the summaries I write are not appropriate for a wiki.
That is true.
It's just not appropriate. I can't. I can't just say Kurata and the captain reminisce about the last time they went to space together, which was apparently to commit genocide.
See, this is our opportunity to change the nature and course of Ultraman discourse online.
Well, yeah, I mean, if subjects can, make people think that a thing that happened in drama happened in real life, we can change people's reading of the show.
Do it.
If there is a vacuum, it must be filled.
My summaries are going to become the voice of what happened in Ultra 7. Oh, man. All right.
Oh, that would be incredible. One thing I guess we should note is we are doing 4 episodes next session.
We are doing 4 episodes.
Because there's a 2-parter?
Yeah.
There's a 2-parter, and we needed a week where we did 4 anyway.
Yeah, so we figured this would be the perfect opportunity instead of just doing all 4 at the end. Because why split up a 2-parter if we can not do that?
Also, the last episode will probably be long enough anyway.
Yeah.
Also, next week is a Blazer recap. So, we've planned this perfectly, clearly.
Yeah.
Completely by accident. Deliberately.
And, if you look at Hideo Kojima's Twitter, you may be able to tell who our special 4th guest will be next. No.
We're getting Kojima?
That would be incredible. That would be funny.
But
no, for some reason he just randomly tweeted out for people at home who don't have Twitter.
I'm gonna DM Jeff
Ultra
Keighley.
7.
I'm gonna tell him I'm hanging out with Kojima.
I want to know if Kojima and Del Toro talk about Ultraman.
Oh, they 100% they have to have.
Jeff Keighley is just permanently. He's just living NTR with Kojima all the time.
I mean, if it helps, he probably gets over it by NTRing E3 from existing.
This is true.
I distinctly remember the Conan O'Brien segment for promoting Death Stranding, where he just went over to Kojima Productions, and they just had they were just going through all of Kojima's action figures, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is Ultraman," and we're showing Conan O'Brien Ultraman.
You should go back and watch it again and see if you recognize any Thunderbirds.
Oh shit, you're right. I should. I'm gonna do that right after we're done now. I'm actually curious.
Oh, yeah, the other thing that I haven't mentioned is it wasn't a one-time thing. They're keeping up the Captain Scarlet drum transition.
Yes. Specifically, Hajime Tsuburaya. I'm curious if that'll remain
fantastic.
A him thing.
Good. Listen, Hajime, I take back everything I've ever said. You're all right.
He's growing up.
He's growing up.
I think he was in his 30s when he was making these.
By referencing children's TV. All right.
Listen, Suda51 tweeted a joke about Space Runaway Idion, and my brain expanded 5 times, and I went, see, this is why I know he's a real one. And I was
Personally,
like,
I think Suda should watch Be Invoked every month instead of Shark's Counterattack.
The The idea of rocking up to your 36th screening of Shah's Counterattack and Suda 51 is sat there still looking really excited. It's him, it's Mobile Suit Breakdown, and it's the staff that he's forcing to watch it. Alright, that's the end of the podcast. Plugs. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at ultra_Q. That is at ultra_QUEUE. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at gender_redacted. Mel.
Hello, you can follow me at all the sites, Twitter, Co's, Blue Sky, at Dear Crowns. We have a coffee, Culture View Fund. We have an email, ultraQpod@gmail.com. We are a month away from the end of Ultraseven, so maybe, think about sending something for our final week.
Yeah. Rasen.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Rasenbrand. That's RASENBRAN. And I think I'm good. I have had this little idea of putting together a little video because I did this myself, and I think it might be a fun little communal thing that I would like to get other people roped into, or at least considering, of using that tops, that one site everyone's using to make the 25 favorite games thing, to make a bingo for clearing out our backlogs in 2024, because I think that'd be fun. So look out for that, and maybe participate if you have a lot of games that you have not gotten around to.
I sure do.
All right. Sick. Well, join us next time for 4 more episodes of Ultraseven. That is episode 37, 38, 39, 40. All right. See you there. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Later.
Attack the holy side, fighter 7. Ultra 7. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, let's go. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Strike the ice like a hero. 7. Ultra.